guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video that's going to be kind of two in one. So first I'm going to walk you guys through how I'm going to migrate from my 4th bullet journal into my 5th bullet journal. And in the second part I am going to do a plan with me showing you how I set up these stacks in the front of my bullet journal. So let's dive in. First I have out here all of the supplies I'm planning on using for the setup of my new bullet journal. So I will go through and explain what I'm using a bit later. So let's move those out of the way. Now, my current bullet journal, I've actually been able to get 5 months in. So we're currently in August and I am nearing the end of my bullet journal. So I figured that for the new school year, it would make sense to not try and cram September in here, but to set it up in a new bullet journal. So my new bullet journal is going to be an A5 dotted like term in black. This is not the official bullet journal. That one has the embossed bullet journal logo on the front. This is just the standard like term. And when I near the end of a bullet journal, as you guys might remember from past bullet journal setup videos, I like to have a spread in the back of my bullet journal that kind of helps me plan through the migration. Now, normally I do the review and then the setup, but I decided that since I haven't really been needing to have a full spread for each, I would just do one page. But I had already started the new bullet journal setup on here when I decided I didn't want to do my review on this spread, so that's why they're inverted. In terms of my review, I like to have a keep, drop, and test area as well as an area for my thoughts on how the whole system worked. So you'll see that this particular review was fairly short because as I was going through and looking at my current setup to see what I wanted to migrate or change or what have you for the new bullet journal, I realized that I kind of liked it the way it was. So you'll see here I have keep, all, drop, none. The only things that I want to test in the front of my bullet journal are my YouTube idea mind map that I currently have in this bullet journal, as well as a YouTube editorial calendar for the 4 months that I normally fit in a bullet journal. The next thing was basically my thoughts on my current setup, and since I didn't use all of this space, I just wrote full steam ahead because I'm basically keeping things pretty similar. What I did on my setup page is I marked up here the colors that I wanted to use when I'm setting up my bullet journal. So I want to use the N95, which this is mine, and the number's actually been worn off, so I'm pretty sure it's N95, but I'm not 100% sure. I wanted to use the gray sign pen, as well as my gray Tri-Plus fine liner, but I've also pulled out my black sign pen and my new Faber-Castell copper pen, because I think I might want to use those in my setup as well. And of course, in terms of drawing spreads, I use my micron, so I didn't actually label those here because this was in terms of the look that I wanted to go for. So what I did is I drew out little versions of my spreads, how I wanted them, the order I wanted them to be in and what I wanted to have included. And you'll notice that I do actually number the bottom of the pages based on the page number in the actual journal, and I make some notes over here. So I'm going to keep my 2017 year at a glance because I think that, well, if I get 4 months in this bullet journal, it will end in December, which means that my next one will be in January and I can just switch over directly to a 2018 year at a glance. The other reason was that I already have my teacher bullet journal, which has the school year calendar, so I didn't really feel the need to do a split calendar in this new bullet journal. Next up, I have my Calendex and future log, which I'm planning to do September to December in the Calendex and January through April in the future log, because I like to have 4 months on the Calendex, which is usually what I fit in my bullet journal. This go around was a bit of a fluke. I fit 5 months and then a 4-month future log. Next, I have my September through December goals, as well as my financial spread. Now, what I did here was I actually marked, so this is 4.129, and that just refers to bullet journal 4, page 129. So let's go ahead and flip there. There. So this is my updated July through September goals spread. I had in the front of this journal April through July. So what I'm going to do is go through here and see which ones I haven't actually finished yet and use this list to migrate my goals over. Now, I'm not sure if I will do all of that on camera because I already did an updated spread of me migrating everything over, but I will at least set up the spreads that I have it. The next is my financial spread, as usual, followed by wish list, my Nespresso tracker, and my waiting for tracker, my Instagram and YouTube trackers, which I actually am planning to change the setup as well as go to a 2-color system and change the colors that I'm using. Not sure what yet, but that's the plan. Then I have a full spread for my YouTube ideas, which is going to be the mind map. And I will update that from my current mind map so that anything that I've already filmed, I'm not going to put on the spread so that I have room for new ideas. And then I'm going to set up a YouTube editorial calendar that will go from September through December. The last 2 things that I wanted to have in the front are a library loans tracker, so similar to the one that I've set up twice now in this bullet journal, as well as a running list of ideas of things to do or to get in case I do actually go visit my family for Christmas this year. I have decided also to change up my style, so you guys might have noticed that I tend to have one kind of cohesive style for the front collections in my bullet journal, and what I decided to do this time was go for kind of a grayscale. So I want to do lowercase lettering in the gray Pentel Touch with any subheaders highlighted with the NFIT 95 and the labels being done with the gray Tri-Plus fine liner. Now, I might also incorporate, like I said, these 2, but I'm not entirely sure how. I'm kind of just going to wing it when I set it up. So that is my 4th bullet journal review and my new bullet journal setup. The next spread that I like to have in here is a new bullet journal to-do list. So right now, all I have on here is deal with open collections, and I have the page numbers. But what I think I will do is, as I'm going through and setting things up, if there are spreads that I need to fill out, then they'll get added on here, and I'll kind of do them a little bit later on. I'm basically just going to show you guys the bare bones of how I do my setup, not necessarily how I fill everything in, because that would take way, way, way too long. All right, so that is how I'm going to migrate. Now I'm going to show you what I've done to kind of pre-set up in my bullet journal so that it was going to be easier for me to do a migration on camera with you guys. So I do still need to set up my front page. And actually, you'll notice that I never actually got around to doing anything on this front. I just keep sticky notes in here. I don't know if that's going to change or not, but at least for the time being, I will probably end up leaving that inner cover blank as well. So all I've done so far is I went through all of the spreads that I want to set up in the front of my bullet journal, and I put sticky notes labeling what they are so that I don't accidentally skip a page or do it on the wrong page or in the wrong order. What I also did is I went through and I did little marks in pencil to help me with spacing so that I didn't have to waste a lot of time on camera trying to figure out my spacing. So that's my 2017 year at a glance. I've got my Calendex and future logs, so I just did my little spacing guidelines here. My goals and my financial tracker. Wish list, Nespresso, and waiting for it. This one's easy because it's really just the headers, and then I have the section for Nespresso. My Instagram and YouTube trackers, I actually want to change the look of the trackers themselves. I currently have, let's see, where are you? I currently have these like hexagons, and I've got a 3-color system, and I want to change it to a different shape and use only 2 colors, but I don't know what I'm going to do, so I will probably just do the headers on these pages. YouTube ideas, editorial calendar, another one that I planned out kind of the spacing for that, and then my library loans and my USA Christmas list, I guess, collection, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that is all I have done for the moment. So let's get started. I'm gonna time-lapse you guys and let you listen to some music while I do this, and I'll come back at the end and explain how everything looks, and we'll kind of go through how the process went. All right, so my setup is officially done, and you'll notice that I did not fill in any of the spreads because this is already going to be a super long video. So first, I ended up changing how I wanted to do my setup. I ended up going for these three. So the gray Staedtler Tri-Plus, my copper Faber-Castell, and the gray Pentel sign pen, as well as my microns. So I have to say I'm really happy with how this calendar came out. I like this look in general. I think it looks really nice and clean. And you'll notice I didn't do the copper always. It's on a lot of the spreads, but not on all of them. Just kind of depended how I wanted it to look. I did not actually fill in my color code because one, it's going to change from last year, and two, I don't know if I'm going to change up the color. So I want to leave that until I kind of figure out how I want to do my color code. I have my September through December goals, which I will go ahead and fill in a little bit later, as well as my financial spread. And you'll notice that this time around, I did everything kind of hugging left instead of hugging right, just to kind of change it up. Oh goodness, and I drew that all the way along. So I will actually go back through and I'll draw the lines so that they cover, so that they go all the way to the end, just so they all look the same, but whatever, no big deal. Next up, wish list, Nespresso, and the waiting for. These are super simple spreads. I will go ahead and fill in my wish list later, but I just like having a pretty basic spread. It's just to keep track of stuff, so nothing fancy. Like I mentioned before, I'm planning to change my YouTube and Instagram tracker icon setup. I want to do a different shape. I just don't know what yet, and I'm planning to change the colors. So I just titled the page, but I have not filled anything in at this point. Next thing is my YouTube mind map, which, like I said, I'm going to wait to fill this in until I kind of go through my filming through the end of the month so that I don't migrate over things that I've already filmed, so I have more room for ideas for things to film in the future. This is my YouTube editorial calendar. So I have been using this one, wherever it is, here. I've been using this one in my current bullet journal just for August because I'm posting twice a week, and I find that it really helps me spread everything out. So I went ahead and I set up a 4-month calendar in here so that I can plan out, for example, I know I do plan with me's every month, and then I can kind of plan around. I have set it up like this because I'm only planning to do one video per week during the school year. However, I do have enough space. If for some reason I have time, I can split a box in half if I do post twice during a week. So that's kind of why I set it up like this. And then the last thing that I've got in here is a new library loan spread. I know I probably won't quite finish the current one I have, but instead of looking back at my old bullet journal, I just wanted to have a brand new one ready to go because I find this spread to be really helpful. And then the final thing I've got here is my Christmas 2017. It's not a sure thing, but if I do go to visit family over Christmas, I always have a list of things that I need to do or get, presents for people, like admin type stuff I need to do while I'm back. So I like to have a spread ready to go so that I can just jot down notes when I think of them. So that incredibly long video is my migration explanation for my 4th and my 5th bullet journal, as well as my setup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have watched through all of this. I realize that it is super, super long. I will time lapse as much as I possibly can to make it a little bit shorter, but I will see you guys in my next video. You will definitely be getting a September plan with me for next month, so stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and or subscribing to my channel. My posting schedule might change a bit in the school year, but I will still plan to post at least once a week on Sundays and possibly some extra videos thrown in on Thursdays. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!